G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Bordeaux Supercoach. Today we're going to be reviewing how we went in round 9 and let's refresh it to see how we did. 2,329, which is top 11% for the round. So clearly we had a much better round this week compared to pretty much every other week this season. Top 11% is the best we've done, I think, since round 1, where we got like top 10%. So, and I think that's the first time since round 1 as well where we've gotten better than top 40% for the round. So, it's good to finally have a respectable round. Yeah, we moved up about 9,000 spots in the ranks. So, after moving up 2 spots last week, we've moved up a lot more this week, and yeah, it's nice to finally be, I guess, doing a half decent job for the week in Supercoach. 2,329. I think this is our highest score for the year. I can't remember what we got in round 1, but I think it was low 2300s, but I can't remember if it was higher than 2329. We'll be able to check in a second, but yeah, it was nice to have a half decent week. I mean, look, obviously top 11% for the week isn't gonna, get you into the elite ranks or anything, but yeah, it's certainly nice to at least have a respectable round rank. Anyways, let's get into the team. And actually, let's quickly, before we get into the team, see what do we get in round 1? 2,316. So this is our best score for the season so far. Anyways, into the team, Lockie Whitfield got 133. Yeah, he's been unbelievable the past, 6 weeks now. Yeah, after a rough few weeks, he's just been right back to his consistent best ever since then. As you can see here, ever since round 3, he's been unbelievable. Or even like round 2, oh, actually, no, he got 96, but in round 3, 128, and then 100, 115, 120, 117, and now 130. So, yeah, he's clearly well and truly back to his best. The Cywagoning Miller was a late out. I'm actually not sure why. I'm assuming it was something to do with injury, like maybe he had like a niggle or something and just wanted to get managed. So yeah, that was pretty frustrating. Luckily, I had Blamise on the bench to cover, so he got 60, which isn't great, but it could have been a lot worse. I could have just had a donut on field, but luckily, yeah, I had Blamise to cover Naz. Sinclair was good this week. It was good to see him score well again after a pretty down month before this week. So hopefully he can get back to, sort of scoring in those sorts of 115 to 120 kind of range. That would be nice. Dan Houston, um, yeah, I think he still had 25 odd touches, but just didn't have as much impact this week. Only scored the 86. It was a tough night for the Pies, so I'm assuming that's probably also a contributing factor as to why he didn't score well. I went to the Pies Geelong game. Um, yeah, I don't know why, but I was feeling kind of confident going into it. Um, yeah, and then the first half wasn't too bad. Like, we were keeping up with Geelong pretty well. Um, I mean, we'd missed a few opportunities inside 50, and we probably should have been leading at half time, but we just couldn't take all our chances. But we were still playing decent footy in the first half, but then the second half, everything fell apart. We just let Geelong, basically do their handball running just with ease. Like, there was no pressure on their handball chains whatsoever. Bailey Smith and Ollie Dempsey tore us apart. And then every time we did get inside 50, we just didn't know what to do with it. Like, we were missing shots at goal that you'd expect an AFL player to get. I mean, I think there was a few times that, some bloke had a set shot that, you'd expect them to kick, but then they panicked and tried to pass to a teammate and then turned the ball over. It was an absolute disaster. And then, yeah, by the time we got to the fourth quarter, we just kind of gave up. So, It was pretty disappointing to see. Maybe a bit of a reality check as to where the Pies are really at. I mean, we've done pretty well for the last month. Before that, we're starting to get some confidence that maybe we can, potentially be a top six side still. But I think not tonight's, the weekend's game against Geelong kind of gives us a reality check that we're probably not a top six side, and yeah, I still think we'll make wild card, but yeah, I don't think this is our year, to be honest. Yeah, Josh Wall got 86. Yeah, look, he hasn't been great. He was a pretty poor trade in, to be honest. I think I traded him in around after round four when he was averaging 114, and ever since then he's just been quite poor. So look, I think I'm just gonna have to hold him um, until the end of upgrade season, and then if I have any leftover cash or trades, then maybe I'll try to get rid of him. But yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm just gonna have to deal with this. Look, I think he can still do 95 for the rest of the season. But look, Jordan Dawson has also not helped him as well, because obviously Jordan Dawson has played down at halfback a fair bit the last few games. So yeah, look, Josh Wall was not a good trade in, especially when I could have actually got Archie Roberts that week. I was gonna get Wall, and I had the thought about Archie Roberts. I think a couple of people told me he could be a good trade in, but I was like, nah, Josh Wall, he's gonna be good, and I think Archie Roberts has averaged like 130 since then. Like he's just gone absolutely nuts. Like he dropped like a 150 the same week I traded Wall in. He dropped like another 140 or so on Anzac Day, and then also this week he dropped like a 150 against the Giants. Yeah, he's an absolute pig in the halfback. Just gets 40 touches every game, it seems like. So yeah, that's pretty disappointing. Josh Lindsay, he was good. Got 80. I think his break even's pretty high though. I think his break even is about 80 because his 130 that he got a few weeks back is now out of his system. But I think I'll probably still hold him. He might lose a little bit of cash this week, but he also might not because he can definitely get a break even of 80 for sure. And even if he doesn't, he might get 60 or 70 this week and then drop like 10k. But then I think after that, he should still have a little bit more cash in him. I reckon he can get to 400k, but look, maybe not. But I think I'm holding him this week just because, um, yeah, I don't really have anyone else to cover in defense if I do trade him out. Because I don't really want Tom Myers on field because he hasn't really been great the past few weeks, and he could also very easily get dropped again. So I think I might hold Lindsay for a few more weeks just so I can have some decent on-field scoring. And yeah, I'll get rid of him maybe when I upgrade my last defender, which I'm actually not sure when that will be, to be honest, because I've only got one spot left in here. Probably would want to get Ash. I reckon Lockie Ash. There's not really any other defenders, to be honest. Like, I mean, Archie Roberts could be an option, but I think I'd rather Ash. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Moving on to the midfield, Butters 130. Um, yeah, look, it's a good score, but considering the fact that I could have viced Bont, and I think I actually had Bont viced for a decent portion of the week before the footy started, but then decided to go Butters because Bont had like some injury concern in his leg, so I was like maybe he won't score well. And then he dropped to 160, so and it was also pretty disappointing because at halftime I think Butters was on about 80, so and Bont was on about 60 or something like that, so it was looking like it was going to be the opposite way around, where Butters was going to get the 160 and Bont the 130, and I was pretty happy with that because I had the VC on Butters. Yeah, but then obviously didn't have the most spectacular second half. But look, can't complain with the 130. I did decide to back in Gorn though, which I guess you could say it paid off. I got 4 extra points. So yeah, it's pretty good. But yeah, a bit disappointed I didn't vice Bont, but he was amazing against Port. Nick Dacos, yeah, he had like 29 touches against Mullum, but I think he just couldn't use it well, which has started to become a theme the past few weeks. He just can't use the footy at the moment, which yeah, it's pretty concerning. Yeah, he's the last few weeks his disposal efficiency, especially his kick in, it's just been terrible. Like yeah, I think this week you could say it was because he got tagged, but I mean you can't really use that as an excuse because I mean if you're a good midfielder, chances are you're going to get attention from the opposition. So look, he had 29 touches, like I said, so he probably should have got 100, but yeah, just can't use the footy at the moment. Yeah, he's in a bit of a rut. Nick Dacos with his disposal. But look, if you didn't start him, you're going to get him super cheap now because his break even's 170, which means that if he gets like another low hundreds kind of score, he's going to drop down into the 520, 530k, which is an absolute bargain. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But look, he'll bounce back eventually. I still think he'll be a top 5 mid, potentially even still a top 3. So yeah, look, hopefully he bounces back sooner rather than later. He has got the Jordan tag this week though, so that won't be ideal. But I'm pretty sure he actually did break it last year and got like 140 Supercoach. So who knows? Yeah. Anyway, Sam Walsh was pretty quiet again. Hasn't really been the best pick to be honest. In hindsight, probably should have picked like LDU instead because I actually had LDU in my team for like the whole preseason, but ended up getting cold feet and picking. I think I just went to Walsh instead. So yeah, it would have been nice if I picked LDU instead of Walsh, but look, I'm sure he should, average 100 at least for the season, which isn't a disaster. Finn Callahan got 100. Probably would have liked a bit more against the Bombers, but look, you can't complain with 3 digits. Especially when I got him for like 490k. So yeah, I think he should be a good pickup. At 490k, if you can just average 105 for the rest of the season, I'll definitely take that. Tanner Brunn 76. I thought he'd score better against the Pies, to be honest. I think he missed a couple of shots at goal, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I think it's probably time to move him on. To be honest, Murdoch was good this week. Yeah, what a rookie he's been. Yeah, just still getting the good on-field scores, making heaps of money. So yeah, he should be someone that I can just keep on my field for a while. Elijah Sarders, yeah, look, it's pretty disappointing that Brad Scott's not playing him. Because I think if he does play, he's still got plenty more money to make. Yeah, honestly, don't know why Brad Scott stopped playing him. But I think, look, now that like Dyson Sharp has come back, and I think he actually did alright against the Giants. Yeah, it might be hard for Sarders to get his spot back. So, look, I'll probably hold him like maybe a couple more weeks, and if it gets to like the mid-season buys and he still hasn't been reselected, then I'll probably have to trade him then. But for now, I think I'm happy to keep holding him. I've got bigger. I'd rather trade out someone like Tanner Brunn, who is probably going to start losing money soon. So yeah, I think I'll hold Elijah Sarders for now. I've got Anderson and Rechko who can cover, which, look, it's not the best, but 70s and 60s isn't too bad. Yeah, these guys were all fine. I mean, Tom Burton was pretty disappointing, but look, a 99k rookie, like, it's fine. Like, he might just be someone I have on my bench for the rest of the season. As like a loophole, because I'm assuming he'll probably get dropped at some point. Yeah, Max Gawn was decent. I honestly thought this was going to be more. I think he was on about 70 or 80 at half time, but I didn't have a massive second half and was still sharing the ruck with Max Heath, which was pretty annoying to see. Yeah, which is pretty unfortunate because I'm kind of stuck with Gorn now because I don't think I can trade him out because I don't have enough trades left and he's a 600k primo, so I think I'm just going to be stuck with this for the season and just hoping that he can still do like at least 110 for the rest of the season, even with Max Heath in the team. So yeah, it's not ideal. Lachlan McAndrew was pretty good. Thought he might have got a little bit more against Richmond, but look, can't complain with an 84. Yeah, he's still ticking along quite nicely. Break even at 50, so yeah, excuse me, I'll probably honestly hold him until probably close to his mid-season buy. Sheasel was good. Petrarca was a bit quiet. And then Isaac Rankin, man, 149. Like, I think this is the main reason that I had a good week. Like, not like a decent amount of people have him, but I don't. How much people? 6% of people have him. So it's actually not that many people, and he gets a 150. Yeah, I was stoked to see it. Yeah, definitely made a big difference in my week. If I had like someone else here, like a Pickett or a Shelley this week, who, that would have been 80 less points, and I probably would have got a pretty average rank again. But yeah, I was stoked to see Isaac Rankin do well. I do think he can be a top six forward this year. Um, I think he played a lot of midfield against Richmond, and I've heard some people say that this could be the start of Isaac Rankin really sort of becoming a genuine midfielder, especially now that Dawson's playing a fair bit of halfback. So yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about Rankin for the rest of the season. I think this should be a good pick. Sam Flanders bounced back nicely with a 120. His average is 92.4, which, look, it's not really what you want from a top six forward or like a keeper forward, but um, yeah, I think it's at a place where, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to wait until I finish the rest of my team, kind of similar to like Josh Wall and like Dan Houston as well, where I'm probably gonna have to finish my team and then see if I have the trades and cash to upgrade him because yeah, I don't think I can do that now because otherwise I'm probably going to run out of trades. So look, if he averages 90 for the season, it's not a disaster. I mean, I think a lot of people probably hoping that he'd do at least 105, potentially 110, but just hasn't played out. Yeah. Anyways, Brandon Cook was good. What a rookie he's been. Um, Philippou was a bit quieter this week, but he's actually ended up being a pretty decent rookie. Like, he's made 150k or 160k, and he's had a few weeks where he's put up some decent scoring. So, excuse me. Yeah, I think in the end, this actually has been a half decent um, rookie. I mean, at one point it was looking like this was going to be a disaster, but yeah, it's played out to be okay. Todd Marshall was not selected. Yeah, this actually hasn't turned out to be a great rookie, to be honest. Like, he's made 100k, but probably would have liked more, especially after that 90 he got in round one. I think a lot of people were thinking that, he was going to potentially make 200k, but just hasn't played out. Oscar Steen, I'm surprised that he hasn't been scoring super well, to be honest, because like every time I watch him in the centre bounces, like I swear he always just like does it beautifully. But like even when I was at the game against Geelong, like there was like two or three times I just saw him perfectly tap it straight to like Nick Dacos or Scott Pendlebury. But yeah, look, I think apart from the centre bounces, I just don't really think he does a lot at the moment. And yeah, look, I'm honestly not too sure. I mean, he also doesn't take all the centre bounces as well. So look, his scoring is quite limited when he's sharing the ruck with Darcy Cameron. But yeah, I think he should be fine to hold. I've got other things to deal with, so I'll just keep him on my bench for now. I'm sure eventually he'll have a couple of spike games. like he did in his first game. So fingers crossed that happens. And then Sam Cumming, yeah, it looks like this might have been a trap to be honest. Just didn't get any CBAs this week and only scored 30. So yeah, I'll probably bench him this week to be honest, because I don't know if he actually has the scoring power when he's not getting the CBAs to put up some good scores. So look, that was pretty disappointing, but look, we'll see. Maybe Richmond will just try something different this week. I can't remember who they gave Cummings CBAs to, because Sam Grill wasn't playing. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it was disappointing. Anyways, that's the team review. Now for trades. I think I'm only going to make one trade this week, which is Tanner Brun. And using the cash I have from last week, I think I'm going to trade him straight into. Where is he? Give me a second. Yeah. Straight into Hugh McCluggage. Um, yeah, look, I've been thinking about getting Hugh McCluggage for a few weeks now, but I wanted to see a couple of bounce back games first, and I think he's convinced me enough. Um, he scored 111 against the Blues, 25 touches, a goal. Um, look, his CBAs they're getting better. 67% isn't too bad. But yeah, I think he should be a good pickup to be honest. 470k. I honestly think he can do 110, potentially 115 for the rest of the season. Actually, maybe not 115, but I think he can definitely do 105 to 110. And because I, had to use so many trades in the first few weeks to correct my team, and my cash in's probably not spectacular either. I feel like I do need to take advantage of these sort of bargain fallen primos. And look, I think Hugh McCluggage, he should be a great buy. I think if he does 105 even for the rest of the season, like that's a pretty good trade in. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just straight swap Tanner Brun into Hugh McCluggage, and I think that's just gonna be it for this week. Um, yeah, look, the team's starting to get closer to being complete. I mean, I think I'm I think I'm still like one primo behind like the rest of the pack. Like a lot of the other good teams, I feel like have one, potentially two extra primos compared to me, because of how poorly I started the season. So it is going to be pretty hard to sort of climb back up the ranks. But if I can have a good couple months of upgrade season and sort of come out the other side of the bye rounds with a pretty decent completed team, and if I can have some good luck with injuries and all that, I could potentially have a pretty decent run home and potentially make up some ranks. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna win Supercoach like the 50k, or I probably won't even finish in the top 1% or anything like that, but maybe I can claw my way back to like the top 10%. I think that's my goal for this year. Try and get back into the top 10% by the time the season ends. Um, Look, it's going to be pretty tough. And it's probably unlikely, but who knows? Could happen. You never know. In terms of captains, actually, oh wait, I just realised something. Brisbane have Geelong this week, which means that Mullen is going to tag someone. Um, oh, I feel like if they tagged Lockie Neal though, surely. Like, I feel like he's done like the most damage out of any of the Brisbane mids so far this season. And even if like McCluggage does get the Mullen tag, I feel like he can work through it. Um, and even if he doesn't, like his break even's 70, so like he's not. I feel like this is the week to get him. Look, I think I'm gonna stick with it. He might get tagged this week. If he does, I'll just cop that. Even if he gets tagged, I still feel like he'll score more than what Tanner Brun would. So I still think the trade's worth it to do this week, so I'm going to keep it. In terms of captains and vice captains, I don't think there's anything in this game. Sydney Collingwood. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here either. I'm definitely not doing Nick Dacos, that's for sure. Especially when he has the Jordan tag potentially coming up. Gold Coast Port. Zach Butters did drop 190 against Gold Coast last season, but to be fair, that was Ken Hinkley's last game as coach, so yeah, I don't know if he'll do that again, but he could be a decent option. I don't have any gold. Actually, Petrarca, ooh, maybe. Adelaide North. Uh, Nothing's really calling out to me there. Melbourne Hawthorn. I don't really want to do Gorn, especially while Max Heath is still, you know, playing in the ruck. Doggies Carlton. I think I'll probably do Bont and someone else. West Coast GWS Finn Callahan. That could be good. That could be good. The problem is that I can't use Zakostelski as a loop because Brisbane have played in the first game. So I reckon what I'll do is I think Sardars is most likely going to end up being a loop. So I think who else could potentially be a loop? Myers could get dropped. Todd Marshall. I think I'm just gonna go and vice Bont. And oh, actually, I'd probably rather vice someone before Bont. But then I also kind of want to captain Callahan because it's West Coast, and I feel like Callahan's due for a big one. Or Lockie Whitfield as well could be a decent captain. Or actually Nasiah against Richmond. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to do. Bont into Nasiah. Yeah, I think Nasiah could potentially go massive against Richmond because I reckon he's due for a big score as well. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll do Bont into Nasiah, and look, I think I'm happy with that because even if it turns out that there's not really any loophole options, I'll probably still back Nasiah in. Even if Bont does well, I mean I'll be forced to, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go Bont into Naz, and then I'll get Rechko on the field, and should I Cumming or Anderson? That's a tough one to be honest. Actually, maybe I'll put Rechko at flex, and I'll loop Anderson. So I'll have this, and then if Anderson does like anything above 65, I'll put Sardars on the field and loop him. And then if not, then I'll just back in Cumming. And if Sardars ends up getting selected, then I'll just put him on the field. Yeah, okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, I think that's it for this week. Yeah, hopefully I can have another decent week. Who knows? Fingers crossed. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.